Hello, as always I'm Cosmic, and today we're going to be taking a look at indie action game Titan Souls, which was developed by a three-man team Acidnerve and published by Devolver Digital. Titan Souls is a top-down 2D action game with puzzle elements in there. The core concept is simple. It's a boss battle game where your only objective is to travel around the map defeating the Titans. The game clearly draws inspiration from games like Shadow of the Colossus, as well as the mechanically difficult games like Dark Souls. Titan Souls is a classic case of easy to pick up but hard to master. There's not much in the game in terms of mechanics and controls. Your character has the ability to run and roll, and that's about it. Weapon wise, you have a bow with one arrow that once you have shot it will return to you by holding down a button, a bit like Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, and yes, I whistled every time I was doing it. Speaking of the controls, the game does require the use of a controller, since the keyboard and mouse doesn't allow you to use the full 360-degree movement that the game is designed to use, as you will be needing to evade a lot of attacks and will need the full use of a thumbstick. The controls are very simplistic. That's basically all you can do, no less, no more. The interesting elements in the game come from the battles with the Titans themselves. Each Titan is different in design and mechanics. Titans will have one weak spot, which is your arrow's ultimate goal. Hitting the weak spot with the arrow will kill the Titan dead. Some battles will require you to wear down a defense, such as using environmental factors as fire to melt ice, or using the Titan's own attack against them. Titan Souls boss battles are all about learning the enemy's attacks, movements and timing, and then striking when the time is right. The boss mechanics are both fun and frustrating. Learning how the boss works is one thing, but having to time your single attack just right while avoiding getting flattened is quite another. This is a one-hit kill game. If you get hit, you're done. All is not lost. You will respawn at the nearest checkpoint, and you'll have the long walk of shame back to your Titan to try again. Shooting your arrow is also a test in timing, as you have to power up the shot, which only takes maybe half a second, but it can only take that long for you to get stomped. Let's have no illusions here. You'll be dying a hell of a lot in this game, which I personally don't mind terribly, nor do I mind the difficulty of the Titans. I like a good challenge. I do, however, mind the amount of time I have to spend walking back from checkpoints, as it can take an age. There's no enemies, or for that matter, anything to do bar a few puzzles and boss fights, so why do I have to spend so much time walking is beyond me. It's unbelievably frustrating, the sheer amount of time you have to backtrack through various zones to get back to the Titan that killed you in under 3 seconds flat. It wouldn't be so bad if there was things to do or to see on the various routes to the boss locations, but the pixel environments aren't particularly interesting, nor is there anything to collect or see. The travelling ultimately becomes a test in patience, which is something that for me personally ran out very quickly. As I said, it should be made clear that the game is mechanically sound. It works as it's intended, and it's a stable game with very few bugs. And for people who live for boss fights, I'm sure it's a treat. However, for me, it lacks depth in the gameplay. I understand the idea of the one arrow mechanic. Indeed, the very concept of the game is that you only have one, and that it's supposed to be about using what you have to overcome the problem. The game admittedly does this well, as it makes you think and use your brain to overcome the Titans, to learn their strategies and test your evasion skill to survive. What the game doesn't have though is progression depth, nor indeed does it have a story or even a motivation, which for me ruins the experience. I would have liked some payoff from defeating the Titans, which you don't get in Titan Souls. Yes, you unlock more Titans, but the experience of running around and fighting bosses was just not enough for me. The lack of any character progression makes the victory of taking down a boss hollow and ultimately lesser. I like progression, item progression, character progression, skill progression, something to keep me engaged, something to keep me motivated past the frustration of dying constantly. Tough games like Dark Souls have items, weapons, armor, leveling, and a story. All those things keep you going when you're getting pummeled by a boss time after time after time. Titan Souls has none of this, which while it does provide a nice, simplistic, streamlined experience, also means that it's a game with all the annoyances of games like Dark Souls, but without any of the good points. It becomes a punishment simulator, a wet dream for self-flagellation. Run here, die, run back, die, run back, die again. It grows so tiresome so fast. That being said, of course, I can also see fans of games like Dark Souls taking a shine to this and enjoying it. There's merit in Titan Souls' design, and the battles are very well constructed. The biggest design flaw, if not the only one in my opinion, is the checkpoint system. It adds far too much frustration on top of the frustration of dying, to the point of becoming uninteresting. For the game that's sole purpose for me is to fight the huge titans, I seem to be spending nearly all my time running and looking at nothing. I want to be right back in the action as soon as possible, not running through maps that have nothing there. Ultimately, it's a well-built game that should please fans of games like Shadow of the Colossus and Dark Souls. While it certainly didn't have enough content and depth for me, looking from someone else's perspective, I could see why they would get a lot of enjoyment from it. Since the game is well built and mechanically sound, it comes down to, at the end of the day, your personal preference. What are you looking for in a game? What things do you like and what things you don't like? For me, it's a big no. But even while I do not like it and I did not enjoy playing it, I can still sit here and admire the well-built mechanics, great looking titans, and overall intention of the developers set out for the game. And that's my review of Titan Souls, so thank you so much for watching and listening. Do like, subscribe and leave a comment. Do check out the Patreon page as it's much obliged, and I will see you next time.